You've heard of it, right? That number, your IQ score, it's famous, it's definitely controversial. We talk about it, we joke about it, but what does it actually mean?
So let's just cut to the chase with the big question. Are these tests even accurate? I mean, it's a totally fair question, right? We're talking about measuring something as mind-bogglingly complex as intelligence. You'd hope the results are something you can actually trust.
Okay, so here's the short answer. Yes, professionally developed IQ tests are accurate. But, and this is a big but, to really get what accurate means, especially in psychology, we got to break it down. It really comes down to two keywords.
So those two words are reliability and validity. Let me break it down. Think of it like a bathroom scale. Reliability is all about consistency. If you step on that scale 3 times in a row, you expect it to give you the same number every time, right? That's reliability. Now, validity, that's about truthfulness. Does that scale actually show your real weight, or is it, secretly 10 pounds off? For an IQ test, the question is it really measuring intelligence, or is it measuring something else entirely?
And honestly, when you look at reliability, the numbers are pretty staggering. On a scale where 1.0 is absolute perfection, modern IQ tests are consistently hitting in the high 0.90s. I mean, look at this number here, 0.984. That's from a real test. That is so close to perfect. It actually makes them one of the most reliable tools we have in the entire field of psychology. It's wild. Okay, so they're consistent. The scale gives you the same number. But is it the right number? Are they valid? And again, the evidence points to a big yes. IQ scores are shockingly good at predicting real-world stuff. We're talking about how well you'll do in school, how you'll perform in a complex job, even things like health outcomes. It's truly one of the strongest predictors we have for success.
But hold on, that's not the whole story. Not by a long shot. Accuracy is one thing, but what about stability? If you get a score when you're a kid, are you stuck with that number for the rest of your life? Let's dig into what the research actually shows.
So a huge study, a meta-analysis, gives us a really clear answer. For little kids, yeah, their cognitive ability is only kind of stable. Their scores can bounce around a bit, and they definitely do change. But once you hit adolescence and move into adulthood, that score becomes incredibly stable. So, that number you got in 2nd grade, not set in stone. But your score as a teenager or young adult, that's a really, really good predictor of where you'll land for years to come. All right, so we've got reliable, we've got valid, and it's pretty stable once you're an adult. But what if you just take the test again? Can you kind of game the system?
Okay, picture this. Someone takes a cognitive ability test for the very first time. They get a score of 100, right down the middle, perfectly average.
Now, what do you think happens when they take that exact same test again? Well, the research is clear. On average, their score jumps to a 105. And no, they didn't magically get 5 points smarter overnight. It's something called the practice effect. Just getting comfortable with the way the test works is enough to give your score a real boost. And this brings us to what might be the most important, most critical question of all. Even if a test works for one group of people, is it truly fair for everyone? Is it unbiased, no matter what your cultural background is?
Take a look at this. It shows just how powerful culture can be. There was this incredible study in Australia. Researchers took a standard reading test and tweaked it, just so it fit better with the local indigenous culture. And the results? They were stunning. I mean, all the students did better on the new test, but the improvement for the indigenous students was massive. It was so big, it closed the performance gap between the groups by half. It's just undeniable proof that how a test is designed can completely change the results.
Okay, so we've talked about reliability, stability, the practice effect, and now cultural fairness. Let's bring it all home and circle back to where we started. What does an IQ score really mean?
So what's the bottom line? An IQ score isn't some magic number that defines you. For it to actually be a meaningful piece of information, all of these things have to be in place. You need a professionally designed test, it has to be given in the right way to the right group of people, and crucially, you have to understand its limits. You have to account for things like practice and culture.
So, at the end of the day, what should you take away from all this? Look, an IQ score isn't a brand on your soul. It's a data point. A really powerful, really predictive, and super reliable data point. But it's one that absolutely needs context. And when we get that, when we understand both its incredible strengths and its very real limits, it's still one of the most accurate and insightful tools psychology has ever come up with. Maybe the real intelligence isn't in the score itself, but in knowing how to understand it.